I was only 14 when my world was stolen from me. My name is Clara Bennett, and this is the story of how I was kidnapped and how I survived. It was the summer of 2003 in my hometown, Rosewood Springs. I went to bed like any other night, sharing a room with my little sister. The windows were open to let in the warm air. I remember thinking about school awards and my plans for summer break. But sometime after midnight, I woke to the sound of metal against glass. Someone was cutting through the window screen. A man stepped into my room holding a knife. He leaned over and whispered, "Don't scream, or I'll hurt your family." I froze. My little sister lay still beside me, pretending to be asleep, her eyes squeezed shut. I didn't want her to get hurt, so I obeyed. He led me out of my own home barefoot, terrified. I remember glancing back at the house, praying someone would wake up, praying this was just a nightmare. The man called himself a prophet, chosen by God. His wife followed along, treating me not like a human, but like property. They took me deep into the woods to a hidden camp covered with tarps and branches. They forced me into long robes and gave me a new name. They performed a twisted ceremony that bound me to him, as if I were his wife. From that moment on, my life was no longer my own. I was chained to trees, shackled with cables, and kept in filth. He starved me, threatened me, and told me that if I ever tried to run, he would kill me or go after my family. There were days when I thought about screaming, about running, but I was young and I believed every threat. The strangest part was how often I was taken into public. They dragged me to grocery stores, to libraries, even through busy streets, but always in disguise. My face was hidden under veils and scarves. My hair was covered with wigs. My voice was silenced, and they told people their religion didn't allow women to speak. There were moments when I was close to being saved. Once, a police officer even stopped us and asked questions. I wanted to shout, "It's me, please help me," but fear paralyzed me. The woman squeezed my leg under the table as a warning, and the officer walked away. I'll never forget that feeling, hope slipping out the door. 9 months passed. 9 months of control, threats, and abuse. There were nights when I lay awake staring at the sky, wondering if I'd ever see my family again. I thought of my mom's cooking, my sister's laughter, the safety of my own bed. And yet, even in the darkest moments, a small part of me refused to give up. I kept telling myself, one day, I'll be free. That day came in March of 2004. We were walking down a neighborhood street dressed in heavy disguises, but strangers noticed us. They had seen the news, seen the wanted sketches, and they recognized him, my captor. They called the police. Officers surrounded us, asking who we were. One officer looked me in the eye and asked, "Are you Clara Bennett?" For a second, I almost said no. After 9 months, denial had become my shield. But then I realized this was my chance, my only chance. So I said it. Yes, I'm Clara. And in that moment, I was free. When I was finally reunited with my family, I broke down. The hugs, the tears, the overwhelming relief. It was like stepping out of a nightmare into the light. I had missed birthdays, holidays, ordinary days that I thought I'd never get back. But I was alive, and that meant I had a second chance. My life didn't end with captivity. It began again with survival. I went back to school. I rebuilt friendships. Slowly, I found my voice again, and I made a promise that my story wouldn't just be about fear, but about hope. I began to speak out for missing children, for victims of kidnapping and abuse. Wanted people to know that recovery is possible, that healing is possible, that even after the darkest nights, the sun can rise again. My name is Clara Bennett. I was kidnapped. I was silenced, but I survived. And today, I live, not as a victim, but as a survivor, a woman who turned her pain into purpose.